What's up everyone, it's Q from RetroQ Gaming, and there's one thing I've noticed with a lot of the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro enhanced patches. They're games that actually involve them properly being upgraded, not just accidentally using a little bit of the extra power. But many of these games all share one common functionality. Now, not all of them, but many of them all share one pretty big deal, and it's an important one that some people are kind of talking about and some people aren't, and everyone is kind of downplaying it, or at least a lot of people are downplaying it, but it's something extremely important, and it's definitely something I want to bring to people's attention. So when you look at the majority of games that are updated to PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X, sure, some games will just up the resolution or they'll up the graphical settings or whatever, but you'll see a lot of them, usually from respectable dev, in which case I'm looking at CD Projekt Red when they released the Xbox One X enhancement of the Witcher 3 patch today, which kind of made me make this video. Proper devs will actually give you a choice, because they will give you a choice between two different things, because they realize that some people want one less important thing, and they'll give the option for a better, more important thing, because they realize that it is a better experience and better overall. So what am I talking about anyway? Well, with The Witcher 3, as well as many other games, they updated them to run on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, and they included two different modes. You have a visual/graphical mode. You find this in many games. They will either turn up some of the graphical settings or increase the resolution, usually giving you somewhere close to 4K, actual 4K, or usually something like dynamic 4K or checkerboard 4K. But realistically, if it's not native, it doesn't count. But either way, you're getting boosted graphical fidelity and boosted resolution. Sometimes at the cost of frame rate, but you get my point. That's the big focus of the patch. But what they and many other developers have also included, because they realized how important it actually is, despite what shills like Phil Spencer and Ubisoft would say, but they include performance mode. Modes that will kind of tone down the graphics or leave them the same and focus specifically on giving you a better frame rate. The Witcher 3 does it. Gears of War 4 does it, Rise of the Tomb Raider does it, and the list goes on. But these developers are actually including this because they realize people are asking for better frame rates. And the reason they're asking for better frame rates is because it factually gives you a better playing experience. More responsive controls, more fluid gameplay, less or no screen tearing, better reaction speed, etc, etc. So developers are very smart in including these. Final Fantasy 15 is another one that just escaped my mind for a second there. Although granted, some of these patches and some of these games are not 100% locked 60 FPS. It's usually completely off the cards with the CPUs that are actually available in these consoles. Spoiler alert, they're actual dirt that gets outperformed by 5-year-old desktop hardware. But the developers are going out of their way to try and do this for people, because they know it's better and what people ask for. And let's take a quick look back to some of the damage control from frame rate. And we're not talking about people who say that headphones are better than 60 FPS. You know who you are. But I'm talking about people like Ubisoft. Although that wouldn't be people like Ubisoft, but you know what I mean. Ubisoft, if you remember, when they released Assassin's Creed Unity, the game ran like absolute shit in the low 20s. And they weren't damage controlling 30 frames per second. They were damage controlling the fact that their game ran at roughly 22 to 24 FPS, calling it more cinematic. Because they're fucking idiots. Now, some retarded fanboys out there actually bought this shit. It's like, oh, films and TV shows and whatever are made in 24 frames per second. Granted, TV shows are usually made in 48 frames per second, but films are usually made in 24 frames per second. And they're, oh, it's a cinematic experience. No, just leave. Uninstall life, please. And then you have people like Phil Spencer. Just before the Xbox One X released, he was downplaying the importance of 60 frames per second. He was going on about how 4K is better, 4K is the best, 4K is the future, 60 frames per second doesn't matter. But the internet, Phil, never forgets. And we remember when you said 60 frames per second and frame rate was more important than resolution. You're just a hypocrite. Obviously, you're doing it for business and damage control reasons, but you're just completely wrong, because frame rate is king. So this speaks volumes, absolutely volume. Actions speak louder than words, and the fact that these developers are giving us 60 frames per second options realizes that they know it's more important to actually have that. I mean, would you rather play at 4K 30 FPS? No. You shouldn't be playing anything at 30 FPS. You should be playing at 60 frames per second or above. 60 if you're at a console, 120 or above if you're on PC. And I think it's especially funny that it's exposing the industry, in the sense that all these people pushing these bullshit narratives that 4K resolution blah blah blah, etc., is more important. We'll give you 25 frames per second because of it, but don't talk about that. Just look at 4K, which is probably dynamic, and therefore not real 4K. But then you've got based CD Projekt Red, who come out swinging their big Polish dick around and just saying, you know what, we'll give you the choice because we realize that some people want to make it look better, some people want to play better and have a better experience with the game. Me, personally, I like the highest resolutions, best graphical quality, the highest frame rates, which is why I game primarily on PC. I don't have to make the choice between resolution, graphics, or visuals I should call them, and frame rate. I can have it all. So let me know in the comments section below what you think of the exposure CD Projekt Red and some other game developers and publishers are actually doing of the industry, because I think it's brilliant. It completely indicates that what we as gamers should be focusing on and what's actually more important for a better gaming experience. So a tip of the hat to all the companies that tried to give us 60 FPS on consoles. Granted, it's never solid and it's never a lock, but that's the compromise for many people of consoles. But realistically, if you're chasing frame rates and performance, you should be on PC anyway. So let me know all of that good stuff, where you sit in the whole conversation, what side you sit on. Do you love that through their own actions that these companies are shitting on the people who are pulling these bullshit and pushing these bullshit narratives? Let me know all that good stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.